What's going on, guys? John Elder here from Codemy.com, and in this video I want to show you how to pull your code out of Cloud9. Alright, as you're probably aware, Cloud9 C9.io is no longer. It doesn't exist anymore. Amazon bought the company a few years ago. They said they weren't going to mess with it. They shut it down. So as of, June 30th, 2019, you can no longer access your workspaces, your code. Now, they will keep this open till December 31st, 2019, which means you can pull your code out up until then. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through how to do that. There's several different ways. Some are good, some are bad, some are better. We'll talk about that all in this video. So head over to c9.io/login and go ahead and log in with your credentials. And when you do, you'll see a list of all your workspaces still. And it's going to be disabled in 2 days. I guess today is the 27th or 28th of June. So you can still access the stuff up until now, but by the time you see this video, this will be shut down. But you still should be able to see all of your workspaces, even though you won't be able to use them. Now, there's a couple of different ways to get your code out. Now, there's one way right here where you can click this little green button next to your workspace, and it will prepare to download your code. Now, this takes some time because they have to take a snapshot of your workspace and they have to archive it and they have to do some things. And so they'll email you as soon as they finish doing whatever they have to do, and they'll tell you, hey, your download is ready, and then you can download it. We're going to do that in just a bit. In fact, I'm going to search for, I have a workspace called Pinteresting, and I actually already did it. I just clicked the button earlier. We'll get into all this later. There's actually a better way to do it. If you've been using Git version control and specifically GitHub, I suggest you pull your code straight from there, or just leave it there. You don't have to pull your code out of C9 if you've already backed it up on GitHub. So let's head over to GitHub and let's look at this first. This is my GitHub account, github.com/flatplanet. I don't think the world is flat. I just find it hilarious that some people do. So I often use that as my username. I have a sick sense of humor. So you can head over to your repositories. And I'm going to search again for that Pinteresting one. It's just a Ruby on Rails project that I had from eons ago. I'm making a clone of the website Pinterest for one of my courses. And here's all the code, right? So if you see this little green button right here, clone or download, if you click on that, you have two options. You can clone it in your terminal using this thing, and we'll do that in a minute. Or you can just download to zip. So I'm going to do that one first. So pretty simple, just click this button, save this anywhere. I'm going to save this to my desktop as Pinteresting-master, I guess. And then once it downloads, click it to unzip it, and you get this little thing. You want to come over here and click this Extract All Files button. And this thing will pop up, and it says, where do you want to save it? I'm just going to save it on my desktop as this directory. So we can extract it. It is 1.33 megabytes. And when we do, this screen pops up, or you could just navigate to your desktop where you should see this Pinteresting master folder. And if you click on this, here's all of our files. And just that easy, we have all of our code. Now, if you have Sublime Text or something, some sort of IDE, I like Sublime. If you use Sublime, go to Project, add folder to Project, navigate to your desktop and find that, Pinteresting master folder. And click into it, find the next little one here, highlight it, and click Select Folder, and then boom, all your code pops right up. You can see here's our gem file, here's our app folder, views, all the things. Just that easy, boom, you've got all this stuff. So that's the method I recommend if you've used GitHub. Or you can also, clone it from the terminal. So if we come here again and click on the little green button, we can click this little copy button here, which will copy this thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, if you have a terminal like the Git Bash terminal, or if you're on Mac or Linux, you can use the Mac or Linux terminal that comes with Mac or Linux. Otherwise, you can see I've run the Git Bash terminal, and you can see we're in the C users, flat planet directory. That's the name of my computer, again, with the flat planet nonsense. Whatever your computer is called or whatever your logged in account is, you'll likely see that there. So we need to cd into another directory wherever we want to save all this code. So I want to cd into my C directory, and let's make a directory. mkdir stands for shockingly make directory. And what do we want to call this? Let's just call this my git. I don't know, whatever. Now we can we can change directory cd into my git, and you can see, yep, we're in this directory, so that's good. We can type ls to see there's nothing in that directory. So clear the screen. Now to clone this stuff, you just type in the git clone command and then right click and paste in that line of code or whatever it is that we just copied from GitHub. And you can see it's the address to our code on GitHub. So flat planet is my username, pinteresting.git is the Git repository where all this code is. So just hit enter, and all it's doing is going over to GitHub, grabbing your code, bringing it back, and pasting it in here. So we could type ls to list the stuff in this directory now, and we see a Pinteresting folder. We can change into that cd, and if we type in ls, we see all of our files. So again, we can head over to Sublime Text or whatever text editor you like to use and click project, add folder to project. This time we want to navigate down here, find that my git directory. Here's our Pinteresting directory. And let's go back. We just want to single click it to highlight it. And then you click select folder, and then boom, again, same exact thing, all of your files appear. So those are the two easiest methods to get your code. And like I said, if you've already got your code at GitHub, there's no real reason to download it onto your computer unless you need to work on the code in the future. Now that Cloud9 is gone, you're going to want to install Ruby on Rails on your local computer. And I've got some videos that show how to do that. You can search and find those. If you're taking a course with me, I've already uploaded those videos. So you just go back in the course and watch the first few videos again. There'll be a section on installing Ruby on Rails. Or you can search on YouTube for my Codemy channel or go to codemy.com. You can find it very easily, so I'll leave that up to you. So, all right, let's get rid of this. Remove all folders from project. Okay, so the third and not surprisingly most difficult method to get your code out of Cloud9 is to do what Cloud9 suggests you do and click this little button next to your workspace. So I'm just going to randomly click this one just to show you what happens. When we do that, this little box pops up. It says before you can download, migrate your workspace, you need to capture its current state. Like I said, this process takes some time, so they'll send you an email as soon as it's completed. While archiving, you are not able to access the workspace. So go ahead and click the archive thing. And like I said, this likely will take 5 minutes or so. So I've already done that here. And so we can come over here and just open another web browser here. And like I said, 5 minutes later, so Cloud9 sent me a little automated email and it had this link in it. So it was c9.io/Rails coding, which is my C9 username, Pinteresting, which is the name of the project, and then migrate. Yours will be different. Obviously, it'll have your username and the name of your project. But whatever it is, just click on the link in the email. And when we do, we come to this screen and it asks us what would we like to do with our workspace. And again, they're trying to get us to migrate to the AWS Cloud9, which I absolutely do not recommend. It's super complicated, especially for new people that don't really know what they're doing. And it costs money. They say there's a free tier, but that's complicated. I say forget about it. We can download this to our computer, which is what we want to do. So go ahead and click download to my computer and then click next. Now we have two different options. We can download the home directory files or we can download the workspace image. And the workspace image is you would use it if you're using Docker. If you're familiar with Docker, that's a way to virtualize, did I say that correctly? Different things like Linux web servers and stuff. So if you know Docker and you want to recreate Cloud9, I think you can do that using this workspace image thing. That's way beyond the scope of anything I want to do in this video. And again, overly complicated. you don't need to do that. We just need to get our code, right? So what we want is the home directory file. So you can click download. Now, it's this big long file. I'm just going to chop off all of this stuff and let's just call it Pinteresting and click save. Now, if you noticed, I think we can go back here. It's downloading this as a tar file, which is a Unix or Linux type of compression. Earlier in the video, we downloaded a zip file, which is a handy, easy Windows zip compressed file, right? Again, Cloud9 makes this more difficult than it needs to be by creating a tar file. Nobody on a Windows computer knows how to unzip a tar file. You actually need special software in order to do it. So I have the git bash terminal. I've already used it in this video. And you can use the git bash terminal to untar files. But if you don't have the git bash terminal, since this is 213 megabytes, that's another thing. The file is 213 megabytes. When we downloaded our code from GitHub, it was 1.3 megabytes. Suddenly, this is 200 megabytes. Drives me crazy. Cloud9, what are you doing? So anyway, we need the git bash terminal if you're on a Windows computer. So head to Google and type in git bash. And we want this git-scm.com/download. So click this. And here we go. It's version 2.22.0. If it's a different version by the time you watch this video, no big deal. Just download the latest one. So go ahead and click this. We want to download this guy. Save it anywhere on your Windows desktop. That's fine. Okay, so once this downloads, go ahead and click it to install it. And I'll run you through this real quick because it's kind of weird. Let's pull this over. So take the license, accept that. Now there's a bunch of screens. We just want the defaults for all of them. So I'm just going to click next, 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 next. It's silly. And we get to this install button. Now I've already installed this on my computer, so I'm not going to install it again. You'll go ahead and click the install button and you're good to go. So let's see, I'm going to cancel this guy out. To run this, just go to your Windows Start menu, type in git bash, GIT BASH, 2 words. It looks like this, git bash, right? On your Windows Start menu, it'll pop right up. And when it does, it looks something like this. We've already looked at this once. Let's see. Let's go back to our home directory here. Like I said, you're going to be in C users, whatever your computer's name is. Now, we need to navigate to our desktop. That's where we save that tar file. And the desktop is in our home directory. So we can just CD and type in desktop. And you can see, boom, there we are. Now let's head back over to our web browser and see, okay, the Pinteresting.tar file is finally now been finished downloading. So we can head back over to our git bash terminal, and we are in the desktop directory, which is where this Pinteresting.tar file is. Now we need to unpack it, untar it, unzip it, whatever you want to call that. So type in tar, and then XVF, which I don't have the slightest idea what that stands for. It's some flag to do it slower or quicker or something. And then just type in the name of the file. It's Pinteresting.tar and click enter. And when you do, it starts doing its thing. Now this is 200 megabytes. So strangely enough, this takes like 10 minutes to go through and unzip all these files, which is craziness, but what are you going to do? Let's see, we can go to our desktop and search, and here's the one we downloaded from GitHub. Here is the file folder itself. If we open this, it only has one directory in there at the moment, but this is still doing its thing. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video and let this crazy, all this crazy stuff on this git bash terminal do its thing. We'll pick this up as soon as it's finished. Okay, so it's finally finished. It takes, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, 5 minutes or so. Now we can head back over to our desktop here, find that directory and click it. We see this home, and then inside of that, we see this workspace directory. And let's go back here. Notice there's all kinds of other crap that they've put in there as well. It looks like they've added some of the Dockery type things that other selection on that screen would have given us. I don't know why they did that. All we want is our code. So go to workspace, double click it, And this is all of our code in this directory. So again, we can head back over to our Sublime Text Editor or whatever editor you like. Go to Project, add folder to project. Now we want to navigate to our desktop and then find that Pinteresting gobbledygook looking folder, double click it. We want home and we want workspace. Actually, we don't want to click through it. We just want to highlight it and click select folder. And then boom, we have again all of our code with a few other hidden directories as well. But this is our code. There's our gem file, there's our app folder and our views folder and all the things, and you're good to go. So again, that's the hardest way to do this. Just, of course it is. Why would Cloud9 make this easy for us? So that's pretty much it. That's how you get your code out. If you can use GitHub, absolutely do that. Otherwise, you're going to have to come in here and do this. I'm sorry to see Cloud9 go. It was a great tool that we used here at Codemy.com for, I don't know, 5 years or longer probably. It was a great teaching tool. Very disappointed that Amazon bought this company and put it out of business simply because they're a competitor, so that they try to drive the users to AWS, which is an inferior product in my mind. But that's the way it is. So hopefully you can download and install Ruby on Rails or whatever you use Cloud9 for on your local computer. It's not that hard. Like I said, I've got videos out there that show you how to do that. And we move forward from here. So I'm John Elder from Codemy.com, and thanks for watching.